Harris will be the next president of the United States. Now, we know, of course, many of us have heard some of what had happened at the Madison Square Garden rally. And that was right in my hometown of New York. We just came from there this morning and flew in today. And I want us to really talk about what happened there and what that experience is. Because the logic of someone like the Trump campaign and someone like Donald Trump is to try to isolate that incident, when, first of all, they knew exactly what they were doing. Let's dispense with this idea of it's just a joke, or this was someone else, or this was just a comedian. We all saw there were 2 teleprompters right there on both sides of that screen. They were loaded with words. And it wasn't just about the fact that Donald Trump rallied tens of thousands of people, of Americans, to rally and froth behind words like calling Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage, saying absolutely horrific things about Latino Americans, saying horrific things about women that he has said, about how he moves on them and how he touches them and what he's been convicted, or rather what he's been found liable for in a court of law. But the reason they do this is because they are preying on us not seeing ourselves in each other. They want us to think that he's not talking about me. He's talking about some other. It's the same kind of logic that says a Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx has no business connecting with the community of Madison, Wisconsin. But I have a message for individuals that operate on that logic, that the identity of our country is so much deeper than the division they seek to stoke between us. Every day, when I walk into our nation's capital, and I step foot on the floor of the United States House of Representatives alongside your incredible Congressman, Mark Pocan, we walk through those hollowed doors and see emblazoned on the floor of the People's House, one phrase, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. They want us to think that it's the other way around, that there is many and there is no one. There's no unity in this country. Because if we do not see that ourselves and others, then they can divide us so that they can sell our country for parts to the highest bidder and the billionaire that wants to buy us out. And we're not going to let them do that. We're not going to let them do that. We cannot let them do that. And so when we hear an individual, like whether it's Donald Trump or one of his cronies on a stage, talking about our fellow Americans as a pile of garbage, know that he's talking about us. He's talking about you. When he calls our service members and our veterans suckers and losers, he is talking about us. He's talking about you. When he talks on how he moved on young women like they were a B word, he's talking about all of us. All of us. When he pursues that, and it's very important for us to understand that racism is not a name or an insult. It is a descriptor of a belief system. It's a descriptor of a belief system. And Donald Trump believes that Americans are not created equal. He believes, and the people that he puts in power, like Stephen Miller, they believe that U.S. citizens are not created equal. So when they go on a stage and echo the words of Adolf Hitler, this is real life. This is real life. When he goes up on a stage and the people that he wants to appoint as leadership heads in administration, and they echo the words of Adolf Hitler, in America for Americans. No, he's not talking about U.S. citizens. He's talking about who he believes is loyal enough to Donald Trump, and that's who he considers an American. We cannot let this happen to our country. We must defend our nation, and that is what we do when we knock on our neighbor's door. Because the way that we defend our nation is by seeing ourselves in others, in understanding that he is not exempting us when he talks about the way he talks about undocumented people, or the way he talks about the poor, or the way he talks about people who live in cities or in suburbs, or women or LGBT people. He is talking about us. When he talks about trans people, he's talking about us. When he uses these descriptors as trying to make us believe that, oh, that's not me he's talking about, it is you he's talking about. It's everyone less than him that he's talking about. It's Americans that he's talking about. It's our Constitution that he's trampling and tearing up. It's our Bill of Rights that he is disrespecting. It is the foundation of America that is under attack. And the way that we do it is and the way we overcome that is by coming together. It's by coming together. But I don't mean to say that in a superficial sense about how we come together. This isn't just about coming around a campfire. This is about coming together for an affirmative vision for the future of the United States of America. It's about the vision and what we want to come together for, not just what we seek to oppose and what we're against.